Hello and welcome to A Slice of Life Hour, your dose of do-it-yourself motivation. I'm Eugene Loh. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me today. And today we're talking about something that's at the heart of my show. It's self-development, self-improvement, self-help, whatever you want to call it. It's growth of the person. And that's something that I believe is truly important to us, and it's quite integral, really, for the success and happiness in other aspects of our life as well. So let's start at the very basic, okay? Let's talk about how we can develop ourselves at our core. How can we do this? Let's find out more about Peggy Santosa. She is the founder of Casa Santosa, the first private wellness space where they combine the care of mind and body through the utilization of clinical counseling, holistic treatments, and yoga. Now, Peggy graduated from the University of San Francisco with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and magna cum laude with a Master of Clinical Psychology and Marriage Family Therapist from Notre Dame de Namur University. Hope I got all those pronunciations right. She is currently a member of the National Honor Society of Psychology, California Association of Marriage Family Therapists, and Singapore Psychological Society. She's also a certified hypnotherapist with the National Guild of Hypnotherapists. So she comes from a great pedigree. She hopes to facilitate others' journeys inward so that they can regain control and be proactive in their lives. And that's why she founded Casa Santosa. That's through her personal experiences as well. She strongly believes in the mind-body connection. Let's talk more about that later on. I'm sure all of those aspects, intertwine with what we're talking about today, which is self-development. So we're going back to the basics here on A Slice of Life. Thank you very much for suggesting that topic, actually, Peggy. So tell us more about why you think self-development is so important.
First of all, thank you again for having me, Eugene. That was such a long introduction. I feel like I'm ready to go home now. So self-development, the idea comes from actually looking through the work with my clients and talking to several different of my colleagues. And then, you know how they always say, growing old is a given, but growing up is a choice. So, and a lot of our work actually with clients, it always come back to developing themselves, like looking into within yourself, what is it that you already have inside you that you can develop so that you can become a better individual. So then therefore repair whatever it is that becomes your trouble right now. It could be relationship, it could be health, it could be anything really.
It sounds rather logical. Right?
Yeah.
But what are some of the challenges or barriers you feel with regards to people perhaps not doing this enough?
Sometimes the idea is like, to develop myself, then I have to put myself into a whole set of course or training. Therefore, it's going to cost me something. It's not only going to cost me money, it's going to cost me my time. So then they have this bunch of excuses that maybe next year, when I get a better job, maybe next year when the kids are all grown up, I have a little bit more time for myself. So then always being put off to the next time you eventually don't really work on it yourself.
Yes, we have a natural tendency to remain in our comfort zones,
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe there's a psychological laziness as well to not, wanting to do more.
And I think it's also, a lot of people don't realize that it's already in you. You can cultivate these good things that you already have within yourself. So then all of us born with this tendency of being compassionate and kind, and we all have this wisdom that lies within ourselves, be it through our upbringing, be it through our education, but we have that. It's just that we need to develop it. Therefore, it's self-development.
That's right. And for some of us also, it can be quite daunting, right? I mean, when we think of terms like purpose and self-development and passion, I mean, these terms are always bandied about. And for some people, it can seem so lofty, that they don't even want to try.
Like
but
hippie terms,
yes,
like new age.
But really, it's very small things that you do every day that actually grows you into that person that you want to be. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it does not happen overnight. And I think a lot of the times as well, even if those people who had started the process and then they feel like I don't really see any changes, so and then they give up easily. But the thing is, you just have to like put in, day out, and any sorts of changes, it takes time. And a lot of it, like cognitively, our way of thinking and the thought process and thought pattern that comes with developing ourselves, it cannot happen overnight. Changing the wiring of your brains, it will take a while. That's why they said if you want to diet, you want to lose weight, you have to give it out at least 3 months, something like same thing with cultivating your mental and emotional strength.
It's a lifelong process, and that's why impatience is our greatest enemy.
Absolutely. And we live in this society where we want fast food, fast service, fast everything, but nothing good comes fast.
Okay.
The good one, you have to wait.
So we have to start with the basics, right? We start with the simple things as well, so we don't, take a bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah.
Right? So where do we start, Peggy?
So I usually, I'll boil down the guideline that I give you. That's things that I actually do for myself, and I recommend it also to some of my clients. So the first thing is always try the best that you can to not cause any harm. I mean, we live already in a world where naturally life's going to throw you a lemon. Things are going to happen that's not really going to go your way, that's going to cause you hurt or pain or sadness. So knowing that, so how we contribute doing things to ourselves and also to the people around us, it's best to not add to those things. Try not to hurt other people. Try not to harm them. So, for example, like we don't like people lying to us, not tell us the truth. So the easy thing to do, not easy, the best thing to do is actually to try with our family, with our kids, with whoever people, we try also not lie. So whatever we don't want happen to ourselves, don't try to do it to other people. Simple, not easy to do. But do you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, like, if we will feel sad when someone take our stuff away, when someone steal.
Okay.
Then don't steal other people's stuff. Or like, like sometimes things like we don't even think about. Like, okay, this is illegal in Singapore, but sometimes you don't pay coupon parking.
Okay.
Simple things that you don't think, that's not silly. Yeah, it is, because you're supposed to pay parking, but you don't.
Yeah.
So then like you see somebody left their stuff behind, and instead of like maybe give it to like the authority or something. This is the things we learn in school actually, but when we come to adult life, who cares? But we have to go back to that and give it to like, I don't know, like the information center. So then when that person looking for their cell phone, looking for their ATM card, something, then they can find it again. Like you left something on a taxi, that taxi driver to return it back to you. Simple stuff like that. If you don't want to be sad with your stuff missing, something bad happened to you, try to be the best that you can to contribute something good to the people around you, something good to your environment.
It's cultivating a deeper sense of empathy, right?
Yes.
Because us as human beings, we're all quite similar, we're interconnected, and we do feel hurt and pain and disappointment as well. So when we contribute to that sort of negative energy in the world, in a sense, we are damaging our own souls as well, our spirits, let's say. Let's not use the word souls.
Because when we what we put out, we actually will come back to us. So then if you don't want that to come to you, don't put it out there. Don't harm other people. Don't lie to your husband. Don't lie to your girlfriend. Like, tell the truth. Maybe the consequences is hard, but do not harm them. If you don't want them to get upset at you, maybe from the beginning tell the truth. Like, have that communication to avoid harming each other. So,
And like you mentioned, it sounds simple, and these are things that we experience almost every day. But to actually do them takes incredible strength. But in doing them, that's how you grow that aspect of yourself as well.
Yes, correct. It's not easy to do. It's really, really difficult. That's why, like, try just to do that, like, don't kick the cat. Don't like even to animals, don't like just plug a plant out of the soil, and because those are not nice, not even just to human, but other things, anything around your environment. Don't just throw away littering somewhere because other people wouldn't like it, you wouldn't like it. So try to put things back into its place. Don't steal, don't hurt, those sorts of stuff.
Of course, we're all human beings, so we're not perfect, but then every little step we take has quite a big influence on us as well. Because we every time we are able to say, requires discipline,
Requires
to,
discipline.
to do that sort of thing. Every time we do a little bit to curb our own, let's say, baser instincts
Yeah.
or temptations,
Yeah.
it helps develop our strength as a person.
Correct. You are so right. You are saying all the right things, Eugene.
So do no harm. That's your first
Yeah.
tip for us. I must say it's quite unusual, but very important
Yeah,
to
just
bring
basically
up.
try not to hurt other people.
Yes.
You don't want to be hurt, you don't
Yeah.
want to feel all. That's the thing, that all of us interconnectedly feel the same.
Yes.
We don't want to suffer. We don't want to be hurting. So then with that, don't cause suffering, don't cause pain.
Exactly, compassion and kindness. And we'll get to that as well later in more detail as well. We're chatting today with Peggy Santosa. She is the founder of Casa Santosa, the first private wellness space where they combine the care of mind and body through the utilization of clinical counseling, holistic treatments, and yoga. You can find out more about Casa Santosa on the internet, of course. It is Casa, C-A-S-A, and Santosa, as in SANTOSA.com. More on A Slice of Life Hour with me, Eugene Low, in just a while. I'm Eugene Low on A Slice of Life R, and we're back with my guest, Peggy Santosa, founder of Casa Santosa, which combines care of mind and body through clinical counseling, holistic treatments, and yoga. And today we're talking about returning to the core of our being, our self. Self-development is what we're talking about today. And earlier on, Peggy shared about how it's very important, first of all, to practice not harming other people or the world in general, and how that feeds into our personal growth as well. What else can help us develop ourselves, Peggy?
The other thing that's quite important is to just be mindful. And being mindful is to be aware at all time what is going on within us. So what I meant by that is that maybe something happened to you that day that affect your mood, and something bad happened, and then you're just not feeling fantastic about that, and just being mindful about that, then you're not projecting it onto your colleague, your parents, and then just because you're feeling bad, and then you're getting angry at the people around you, and it's nothing to do with them, it's everything to do what had happened to you before.
Yes, exactly. That's the ability to contemplate an issue more deeply, right? The
Yes.
high awareness of that. That's what
To reflect, at all time, what is going on with me here? I was upset about that. It has nothing to do with this next person that I'm meeting, this person who's driving in front of me, that you take it out on a road rage or something. So, but being mindful, yes, I am upset, and be okay with that. Everybody gets this ups and down fluctuations in terms of their emotions, but the thing is, sometimes a lot of people, I don't want to feel that, and then they throw this anger onto the next person that they met, which has nothing to do with that person. Now we go back to the first point, you're harming that person, it has nothing to do with that. But if you're being mindful, or I'm just being angry and I'm okay with that, it has nothing to do with this person, and try to do the things that you do to alleviate your anger. Maybe after work you go out on a run or something, go to a gym or something, go watch a movie, go meet your friend, to vent out your negative energy. So being mindful at all times, maybe take yourself a little bit away and self-reflect, like what had I done to get that person to be angry at me.
It's taking that moment to pause before reacting that's so important.
Yes,
right? Some people I suppose spontaneously go into fight or flight mode, which is quite natural. But then that mindfulness helps us create that space, that barrier that makes us just pause a minute to reflect on why it's happening, how it's happening. Should I be, getting upset about this? What can I do to make things better?
Absolutely right. You got that.
All right, we'll continue to chat with Peggy Santosa more about self-development, which is so integral to our existence. And that's happening on A Slice of Life R with me, Eugene Low, in about 15 minutes after headline news, sports and business. Welcome back to A Slice of Life on 938 Live. I'm Eugene Low with your dose of do-it-yourself motivation. And as usual, I have some help from my guests. And today, we are hearing from Peggy Santosa. She is the founder of Casa Santosa, the first private wellness space where they combine the care of mind and body through clinical counseling, holistic treatments, and yoga. And Peggy started her practice in the US treating abused children from families with violence and gang involvement. At the same time, she also volunteered at several suicide prevention hotlines to conduct crisis and suicide intervention. And after she moved to Singapore, she worked with a local non-governmental organization that handled court cases from family and juvenile courts to help families to better functional ways of life. So she has lots of experience in family therapy as well as marriage therapy as well, and of course individual counseling and therapy also. And through her personal experiences, she founded Casa Santosa to continue her work in this area. She hopes to facilitate others' journeys inward so that they can regain control and be proactive in their lives. And I like that, facilitate your journey inward, because you really have to focus inside yourself before you can make things happen outside. Yeah, that's how it works, right? So today, we're talking about self-development. I earlier shared with us some of your strategies for developing yourself. The first one was do no harm. And the other was mindfulness, which is basically it is contemplating more deeply about anything that irks you or happens to you in your life, and not reacting so spontaneously, often in negative ways.
Correct.
Yeah?
Having like a self-reflection, being very aware what's happening with you moment to moment.
And it really grounds you.
Yes. Correct. So in the busy life that we live in, it's really important to just have a little bit of pockets of moments where you can look inside yourself. What's going on? What are you feeling? How have you contributed to certain situation in your life, be it a good one, be it a bad one? Nothing ever happens from outside of you. Sometimes people think like that person makes me angry, so it's not that person, you yourself, so then if you cultivate yourself enough, so then no one can take, your peace away from you. You're only you yourself that can make yourself so angry and be upset. It's the things that's happening in your mind, the talks that's happening in your mind. Yeah. So if you are being aware of that, have a little pockets of time where you can be alone and reflect and be happy, be aware of who you are, and things in your life will also be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'd like to hear your perspective on that as well, because this mindfulness thing and being able to accept that, when I feel bad, it's all of my own doing, right? But I've heard a lot of people tell me that what that means, you are letting the other person or the offender or the aggressor, you're letting that person off too easily, right? So how do you deal with injustice or real genuine offenses?
Well, I mean, not necessarily letting the other person off, it's just that when something bad happened, it's not necessarily just another person's fault. We also play a part. So then to be able to look into where do we play a part in that is the one that we need to be, working on, not letting other people go, because they will have their own work. What matters here is about working on our own self-development. So we're not trying to self-develop this other person. Yes. We're trying to self-develop ourselves. So then not letting the other person go, but, it's just first reflect how you play a part, and with that then come from where you are at, I was also not right, so with that I'm sorry, but you can see how the other person reacting maybe to your action, or it could be the other person provoke you, and then with that you can try to I was provoked by that, I have an option to not get provoked.
Yes.
To walk away and be the bigger person. Of course, it's tiring to always be the bigger person. Sometimes you want to lash out, but then when you lash out, then you have all this other work that you have to do.
Yes.
So when you own up to where you do wrong, then you can say to the other person, I'm sorry. You take accountability and responsibility from where you come from, and then you have to let go, or you cannot enforce for the other person to then, you must also then say sorry.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
you
because-
do your best for your own sake.
Yes.
But you have to, what the other person do or not do is not within your control.
Yes, it's multifaceted, right? Because
Yeah.
we have this tendency to try and fix the world
Yeah.
and fix other people,
Yeah.
But we're not saying that you can't. Of course, you can try your best in the proper ways to try and make things better, or try and make someone better in your own way. But ultimately, you also have to understand that you can't. There's nothing you can do about
Nothing
somebody
you can
else.
do.
So and then you have to contemplate your own role
Yeah.
in that equation as well.
Because you only get frustrated when you try to you must also say sorry. Then the person, no, I don't want, it's your fault. So it will never be ending,
Yes.
So when you take accountability from you and then you let go, then that person have to do their own processing. That person has to do their own self-developing. It's not within your control. And you just wish the person well. Okay, you don't want to say sorry, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I wish you well. Maybe we not necessarily have to see each other every day.
Yes, exactly. Ultimately, you think about what it's doing to you, right? The
Yeah.
damage that it's doing to you, although
Yeah.
you may not realize it, and really take that self-care to understand that when you take this step, it's actually for yourself.
For yourself, correct.
Let's go on to some of your other strategies for achieving that self-development. You mentioned a bit about self-reflection. Some people call it meditation.
Yeah.
How do you use that to develop yourself?
Again, it's actually tied into that mindfulness. When you take a step out, again, look into when you're feeling so stressed out, and just find a little pocket for yourself. Get in touch with how are you breathing, as cheesy as it sounds, and then reflect how are you feeling right now. So it's tied in to that. So find a little bit of time for yourself. That's not with friends, not with husband, not with kids, because that's really important to get centered, to just quiet down this buzzing of the mind, the things that are moving from one point to the next. We live such a busy lifestyle. And with that, not necessarily all the time we are mindful of how are we feeling, from anxious to angry to sad to, you experience all this every throughout the day.
Yes.
But when you put a stop and I'm just going to take 5 minutes, walk around the office building, or take lunch break or something like that, and just connect what had happened today, and
Yes.
then ask yourself, how am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling kind of okay. Just connect to yourself. That is already meditation. You don't have to cross your leg, close your eyes,
Yes.
and om and all that.
Correct.
But just taking a little bit of a walk and then clear your head. That's taking a time off for yourself and
Yeah.
do
And
it again.
And like you mentioned, of course, you're very busy, right? But it's important to take those little pockets of time to do that,
Important.
just to take stock of
Yes.
what's happening.
Correct.
Yeah.
To take stock, that's really important, because it ties into the next step is to be grateful. It's easy to complain. It's easy to oh, you don't have enough. I wish there's more of this, more of that. But when you take that step off a little bit for yourself, and you can contemplate and be mindful about everything else that you already have, be grateful for all, even the mistakes, all the choices you make, because that had brought you to where you are at today.
Okay. And since you mentioned gratitude, let's
Yeah.
move on to that part of
Yeah.
your tips on
Yeah.
self-development, being grateful.
Being grateful. So we just passed the Thanksgiving weekend for some people. So just be grateful for everything in your life. So be the good, be the bad, all the people that challenge you, because those are the ones that help you grow. Help you look into a situation in a different way, challenge you out of your comfort zone. So those are actually teachers in a way, So then the people that you always support you and look into every little bit, the auntie that helped you clean the studio, they meant something. Without them, you can't have the clean desk. And every little people you have in your life, the good things you have in your life.
Yeah, exactly. It's our perception of the world that shapes our behaviors and actions.
Yeah.
And it's really up to us to choose either empowering
Yeah.
perceptions or negative perceptions.
Absolutely. Every different moment, let's go back to the being mindful. It's a choice. Are you going to look at it in a bad way, or are you going to look at it in a positive way? Are you going to choose love? Are you going to choose fear? So every moment, take a step back and look into what's going on with you. And with that, then you come from a place of centered kindness, compassion, rather than like from like a negative place.
Yes, exactly. It takes work and it takes time, but every little
Absolutely.
step will help us
Every little
move
step
along
will
our
help,
journey.
yeah.
And just very briefly, your final tip, which is after looking inward, it's a bit outward now,
Yeah.
being of service to other people.
Yeah, be of service. Everything that you have learned, every single bit that makes you who you are, help you grow. The kindness that people give to you, extend it to other people. Give it back. When people help, it's simple things. People help you open the door.
Yeah.
The next door, try to hold on to the door and help open it for somebody else. As simple as that.
Yes.
Does not have to be complicated.
Yes.
But every little nice things you have received, give it back to other people.
Exactly. I mean, people talk about charity and social work, and understandably, not everybody, it has that type of, disposition or time, whatever. But, every bit of kindness and compassion you put out to the world,
Correct. It helps.
it helps,
Yeah.
definitely. And,
It
and
helps.
it feels good as well, and that's why, it's good for you. It develops yourself in that sense, because it really does feed into your personal fulfillment.
Absolutely. And your personal fulfillment, you have to give it back to other people and share and help other people grow, because when you walk it, to grow is not easy. So when you saw somebody else also trying to make it in their path, in their journey, help them.
Yeah, it's
You
all
know,
this
help them along.
recycling, or not recycling, I mean this cycle of
Yeah.
positive energy that
Correct.
helps all of us, really,
Yes.
right? Thank you very much, Peggy.
Thank you so much,
for coming in
Eugene.
today.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to chat with you. Peggy Santosa is the founder of Casa Santosa, the first private wellness space where they combine the care of mind and body. They offer clinical counseling, holistic treatments, and yoga as well. And for more information on Casa Santosa, very simple, go to their website, which is casasantosa.com. That's CASASANTOSA.com. And if you have something to share with me here on A Slice of Life, do email Eugene at mediacorp.com.sg.